All right, welcome everybody to another edition of the Wild Bill Podcast. This is episode number 39. I'm going to do things a little differently today. Instead of doing two separate podcasts for talking NFL and baseball, we're doing it all in one. So we got a nice conversation I just had with my buddy Peyton. Going to round up with some Chicago Cubs talk at the end. And before that, we're going to do something a little different today. We got a sponsor for today. First time ever. Unpaid. Doesn't really matter. Today's sponsor, it's a little close to home for me. I used to struggle a lot with self-esteem and how I was seen and perceived by others. It took a lot of time to get my mind into the right place, and took a lot of hard work, a little over a year for me to finally get to a place where I was fully content, fully happy, and the people in my immediate life were able to see me work through that, and I couldn't lie to them about it, how I looked and how I was feeling. But thanks to Wild Bill Photos, you can absolutely lie to whoever you want online after the pictures that I am able to take. That's right, I'm opening up a photography business, Wild Bill Photos. Check me out on Instagram. Take portraits, quinceañeras, travel photography, anything that you can think of. Anything short of weddings, unless, the asking price is something we can discuss in the DMs. So I'm offering for the first 3 people. Promo code WILD, W-I-L-D. First 3 clients that I book. This is optional. We can, after the photo shoot, go down to the liquor store, pick up a 6-pack of Coronas, maybe Modelos, whatever it might be. It might be a little too expensive after these tariffs that are imposed, but we'll see what's available. And we can chop it up after our photography session. I think that'd be a great way to get to know the proprietor of this business. And I think we can both gain something from that. So again, Wild Bill Photos on Instagram, all one word, photos with F, the Spanish spelling of it, because I am Hispanic. So there's your DEI section of this. Or BillAnaya.com. You can check out my photography portfolio on there. It's different, but it's the same thing. I'm all the same guy. And we can lie to these fools together online, because nothing's real online, not even this video. So again, thanks to our sponsor, Wild Bill Photos. Excited for another cool episode of the Wild Bill Podcast. Episode number 39. Here's some probably unlicensed music to lead us into our interview with Peyton. Thank you for joining us. All right, everybody, welcome back to, I believe this is episode 40. I've brought on my good friend, Peyton. Peyton, how you doing?
I'm well and well. Happy to be back, dude. I mean, we got a little bit of crumbles, a little bit of news, a little bit of this and that coming from the NFL sphere. So I'm happy to be back on the pod just to be able to speak on some of these crazy happenings around the league.
That's
How have you
right.
been?
I've been pretty good. I've been, building my life back together, as I have chronicled on past podcasts. I had to give up my car after getting hit by a drunk driver. So spent like 2 weeks on foot out here in LA, which sucked. But got that back. I've got some film gigs coming up too. So I'm going to be up in Mammoth Mountains this next week. So wanted to release this before heading up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, things are on the up and up. How about you? What have you been up to?
Yeah, man. Life's been good. How many weeks ago was it now? 2 weeks ago, we were in New Orleans again. So not celebrating the Super Bowl or anything like that. That was a fantastic time. We have reached actually a month out since the Super Bowl. Go Birds. But no, we were there for Mardi Gras this time around. Mardi Gras, since Victoria and her family are from New Orleans, it's such a big deal. It's really like a family reunion, if anything, for them, all the Creole folk down in New Orleans. It was super fun. It's my 3rd or 4th one now with them. I want to say 4th. Um, and I love it every year. It's so much fun. It's really like great food. Like I said, family time, and then obviously you get to catch beads. Like we brought my mom and dad, and we brought Nana, bro. Like Nana was on the parade route catching beads.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, it was a time for sure. But this weekend is gonna be a highlight for me, because similar to Mardi Gras, Chicago has their own thing with St. Patrick's Day, and obviously 2 different things that they're celebrating. However, well, actually, kind of not really, because St. Pat was a Catholic I actually looked into the history of it, but yeah,
That checks out.
none,
Yeah.
yeah, nonetheless, it is bananas and wild and crazy and fun in Chicago. All those St. Patrick Day weekends and just times
Hmm.
that we had. They dye if for our fans at home, they dye the river down in Chicago green. All the beers are green. People are outside walking everywhere. There's pandemonium. It's just really a good time for the city. So I'm excited to get back to Chicago to be able to celebrate that. It's Victoria's first time. And when I first moved down to Dallas and met her and was trying to explain it to her, she's like not understanding. She's like, I'm not Irish. Like, I'm not going to celebrate that. Like, that sounds really weird. Like, this is not. I was like, you don't get
Yeah, it's
it.
different.
In Chicago, everybody Irish on St. Patrick's Day. Period.
Do you know where
So
you guys are gonna hit up while you're out there?
yeah, we're gonna be in the West Loop.
West Loop?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you gonna be back?
Nah, I won't be back. I haven't been to Chicago St. Patrick's Day. The only time I was out there was during COVID, which obviously nothing happened.
Brother, you are missing out on one of the best weekends every year then. You never did it like junior, senior year in high school, like ever take the train down or anything like that? You never, your friend, well, we were in the
No,
same
I
friend group,
was I
but
was knee deep in baseball during that time. And I
true.
was a
Okay,
goody
that
two
makes
shoes back
sense.
then.
So was I. That makes sense. That makes
Yeah.
sense. Senior year, I didn't do track, and that's probably why I experienced it then. And then I also moved back after my freshman year. So that makes sense. That makes
Right.
sense.
Yeah. I do. I remember people like when I was like 19, 20 and in San Diego, people were telling me like, "Oh, dude, I'm going to Chicago. You got to tell me like what bars to hit up." I'm like, first of all, I'm not even old enough to get into a bar, and I've
Yeah.
lived here since I've been 18. Like, what? Didn't make any sense to me, but I appreciated the trust that people had in me
Yeah,
for
the
that.
thought. Yeah, they
People
thought you
know.
were Mr. the Mayor, you know what I mean? Mr. Man
Pe-
around town.
People assumed that I knew ball then, but I very much did not know ball.
We definitely should do St. Pat's next year if you have the opportunity, if you don't have any gigs or anything coming up.
What is it? Second Pats?
I said we should do St. Pat's next year in Chicago if you have no gigs or anything like that.
I'd be pretty down. I know Fran loves going out to the city.
So much
She's
fun.
seen all there is to see in Aurora, which is not tough to do. So I'm down to head out to the city and have us a time. We'll get ourselves an Airbnb or a hotel room or whatever.
Ooh, yeah, that's
We'll
we're
figure it
staying at.
out. We'll do this off
Probably,
pod.
okay, yeah, we can. I don't want to dox our hotel this weekend, but it's a nice one. So I'm definitely
All right.
excited.
So we've got a if honestly, if we went through every single free agent signing, we'd be here for like 3 hours. But
Facts.
bombshell of the whole NFL cycle today, biggest quarterback signing that I saw waking up, Mason Rudolph to the Steelers, 2 years, 4 million. No, but here, no, but
I didn't see that.
no, but let's start off with the Birds. We're gonna go more in depth than our own teams.
Yep.
What's something that kind of caught you by surprise, or is anything really surprising that happened, or how you feeling about the team and how it's forming after certain moves that were made?
So luckily, Howie did the right thing by telling us prior to free agency. Told us kind of like maybe a couple of weeks after Super Bowl ended, and said, "Hey, like this year, this offseason is going to be a little different normal than it normally would look like." Kind of prepped us, and so I think why he did that is because when you win a Super Bowl, you're such in love with all these players, like what they did for you, what like how that season went. It's a fairy tale come true, and so it's hard to see those players move on. And so in 2022, even though we didn't even win it, and even going back to 2017 when we did win it, we signed a lot of bad freaking contracts after that. We signed a lot of bad contracts that because we were just in love with those players. So I think Howie's approach this time around is cash over cap, which means being able to turn those players that we want to keep. So, like giving Saquon another extension, even though he just signed a 3-year deal to start this past season. It's the reason why in which we're able to do that and keep his cap hit low. It's because our owner, Jeffrey Lurie, pays so much upfront money in that signing bonus that allows us to have flexibility on the back end. Not every ownership group is willing to do that on the Cowboys. And so in doing so, they're stricken with the contract that now have for Dak, right? He's getting, I think, 60 or $70 million this year. Ridiculous figures for trying to build a team, especially when you have to pay CD, which they did. And CD's now talking about taking less money when CD shouldn't have to do that. Um, on top of they still have to pay Micah,
Right.
and there's been floated rumors that they might even let him walk or trade him or something like that because it's so much money that they're looking to have to pay him. Um, so say that all to say, Crazy Eight, salute to you, King. I'm gonna miss you, CJ, every year that you've been with the Eagles, 2 out of 2, we made the Super Bowl. 1 out of 2 winning, 50%. What can you ask for, man? You're one of one. I love passion. I'm a passionate guy, so I understood what you were bringing to our team. That's the level of energy and love that I like to bring to my life and the sports when I played. So it's hard to replace that. I don't think we will be able to replace that through the draft or through free agency, but what he meant to Philadelphia. But hopefully, we either just see the emergence of Sidney Brown, who is now going into his 3rd year out of University of Illinois, and obviously the continually great play out of Reed Blankenship, the starting safety from this past year, also part of the exciting whites with Cooper DeJean. We got to re-sign Zach Bond. He took a middle of the road for the top 5 linebacker price. Appreciate you for doing that, Zach. We love
Mhm.
you. We just signed, actually this morning, Joshua Uchi from the Chiefs. Saw a couple clips from him. He's nuts. Got a killer sack, got a couple killer sacks throughout the season.
Mhm.
The clips that I saw. It just touched on the Saquon extension. But most importantly, which makes me very, 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 very happy, is that the Eagles' core offense, just core team between our line as well as our receiving core and Jalen and Saquon are all locked up until 2029. That is a recipe for success. We're going to lock up most likely Jalen Carter as well as Jordan Davis this offseason. Or, I mean, Jalen Carter will be next offseason, but Jordan Davis will probably, depending on how he comes into camp, will probably give him a 2 or 3 year contract as well. The hog of the middle of the defense. Um, and dude, if we do those two things, like really, we're looking at a run from the Eagles that
Mhm.
I didn't I have yet to see in my lifetime where you see like the Tom Brady's obviously amazing. Patrick Mahomes were like their team even I mean even the Seattle Seahawks, even though they didn't win much, but you saw a change in their offense around Russell and still playing winning ball when he was with the Seahawks still. The changes in Peyton Manning's teams all those years. Um, I've yet to see an Eagles team keep the same quarterback or the core players and kind of morph into something new, while still keeping core players around. Usually it's like a new regime change. We'll go either going to from Andy to Chip to Doug Peterson, and it's a complete overhaul in players and system and schemes. I've yet to see consistency for 10 years in a row from a
Mhm.
team. Um, so I'm very excited to see what this window and this new team looks like. We're going from having a lot of veterans like we had in 2022 and kind of this year to now, hey, no, we're playing young guys. We're playing guys that are 25, 26, 20, 24, 25, 26. We're playing the young guys, especially with a lot of guys coming out of college late now at 23, 24 years old with those extended years and during COVID, but also just now the way that
NIL.
the NIL deals and everything are working. Yeah, kids are staying in college longer, which is great for them. Make your money. I ain't mad at it. Um, but it's just, yeah, we're playing guys that are coming out. And I think that the Eagles are a team that other people in the league are commenting on how we do our business and wanting to replicate it. I mean, Joe Burrow already came out this offseason and said the same thing. He said, hey, why can't we keep T. Higgins? The Eagles had Devontae Smith and AJ Brown signed up, all happy, getting the ball, getting their
Mhm.
money. Why can't they do it? Uh, it's because your owner is a cheap. Sorry for the kids at home listening. That is why. So
Right.
shout out to us, man. Shout out to Jeff Lurie. Appreciate you being an amazing owner. And shout out to Howie Roseman um, for continually getting better since that snafu with missing out on Justin Jefferson. Since then, you've been undefeated, man. First ballot Hall of Famer in my book.
Right. Yeah, it seems like the Eagles are pretty set up for the next handful of years to they don't need to rebuild, they can just retool, which is a
Exactly.
great place to be in. We saw that
Similar.
with Buffalo, but the Eagles having more pedigree to back themselves up.
Mhm.
Like nobody thought Buffalo was going to make the playoffs this season, and they obviously won a playoff game. They got to, yeah, which is, I mean, they exceeded expectations. But the
Absolutely.
Birds are set up to a point where like AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts, all those guys, Saquon, they're going to be there for a while. And so, like you said, they're going to lock down those D line guys,
Yep.
and they can shuffle around the secondary. And they got Vic Fangio. You guys are set. You guys are
Doug,
good.
what more can we ask for, especially with having Quinion come in so early at the corner, replacing essentially that cornerback one position from Slay. Like Quinion went crazy the entire year. Like Slay, hey, appreciate you, salute you, have fun in Pittsburgh. You kind of didn't put Jalen in your top four. You're weird for that, but hey, good luck in Pittsburgh, big dog. Hey, with having the Bengals and the Ravens that you got to see four times out of next year. Hey, salute to you, big dog.
And those
Um,
sickos in Cleveland,
yeah, and yeah, exactly. And
weirdos.
Yeah, Miles Garrett, bro. Like, how are you going to sign on the dotted line after saying, I want to play winning ball? Bro said 40 M's, 40 M's. I
That's
ain't
what I
mad at
wanted to
you.
hear.
I ain't
Now we're
mad at you, man.
talking.
I ain't mad at you. I would have done the same thing. Hey, you give me I probably do a lot for 200K. Probably do a
Oh, I do a lot more for a lot less.
lot.
The
But
only other guy
wait.
that I oh sorry, go on.
No, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go
The
ahead.
only other guy that I wanted to mention about the Eagles is Quadzilla, AJ Dillon. I like that guy. I'm now allowed to like AJ Dillon now that he's not on Green Bay, so I'm happy about that. So I think the Eagles are in competition for having the greatest leg circumference out of the backfield
Yeah.
between
Jalen,
Saquon,
Jalen
Jalen,
Saquon.
and
Yeah.
AJ Dillon.
Dude, AJ Dillon, after you sent me some stuff or and I saw it, his thighs are literally like this, bro. They're literally tree trunks. Like he is a different type of cat. And now, again, no one's talking about AJ Dillon right now. I obviously Packers fans were and Bears fans because you know what he can do.
Oh, yeah, fantasy owner.
Imagine him running behind our offensive line. You just got hit for like 55 on some electric lightning type run by Saquon, and now here comes the hammer. Here
Thunder.
comes the man that has 150 pounds in both thighs coming
Mhm.
down full speed at your forehead. It's like assigning LeGarrette Blunt back in the day. No one was speaking about it in 2017 when we signed him. Everyone's like, I mean, LeGarrette, like he had a couple good years and with the Patriots and a few other stops, but what's he really going to do behind the Eagles line? Oh yeah, win us a Super Bowl.
That's right.
Yeah, win us a ball. So I'm excited to see what AJ Dillon can do for the boys. But hey, we won. Our time in the sun is right now. But the most scariest thing are the people in the shadows right now. People that are working behind the scenes that no one really knows about. And I feel like that's who you got in Ben Johnson. I
Oh,
see
dude.
I've been seeing some signings that you guys are doing, trying to beef up the O line. What are your thoughts, Bill?
Have you
On the
seen the day that the picture side by side the day that he was hired and like yesterday the press
no,
conference?
no,
That man
no,
is
dude.
disheveled, dude. He's unkempt. He's been working day and night,
Drop the
running on
pic right
5 hour
here.
energies.
Drop the pic right here when you edit
Oh,
it.
I'll find it. I'll find it while I'm talking about it because this is all I've been thinking about, dude. So the main philosophy of the Chicago Bears is building up the trenches with veterans. I think that this is part of Ryan Pohl's great master plan to kind of establish that winning culture that Ben Johnson is also all about. Building in the trenches, which is what he was mostly like known for in Detroit. So we got Joe Tooney, Jonah Jackson, Drew Dahlman. So that our interior O line is completely fixed from what it
Yep.
was last year. None of this. What was that guy's name? Blake Shelton, whatever Shelton. I don't know, but he wasn't very good.
The singer?
Um, it was some guy that we signed last season, and he wasn't very good. I can't even remember the guys' names.
He's a
But
jag. Just a guy.
here, I'm gonna send you the Twitter thing real quick. You can
Of
see Ben
course.
Johnson before and after. I'll post it on the video for those that are tuning in on YouTube. Um, I've heard nothing but very solid things about the offensive linemen that were that we've been signing. Joe Tooney, obviously two-time Super Bowl champ, blocked for both Pat Mahomes and Tom Brady, which is saying something, if not absolutely, this guy knows what winning culture is all about. He can set that, those habits that we need to have in the building.
Yep.
Jonah Jackson is a guy that I heard Sean McVay speak very highly of him. You want to trust a guy like Sean McVay when he says those types of things. He's had some injury issues the past couple of years, which hopefully we can, find a way around. If not, then that's something that we can look into to get some more depth at the guard position. And then Drew Dahlman, by every account, apparently one of the biggest steals out of free agency is what people have been saying. Because what I've heard is that Atlanta Falcons they cut Grady Jarrett, which the Bears also acquired, to be able to free up room to re-sign Drew Dahlman, but the Bears swooped in and scooped up
Mm.
both. So I just tuned into the Grady Jarrett press conference,
Did not hear that.
and again, this is Ben Johnson and Ryan Poles just wanting to establish a culture because Grady Jarrett is a 31-year-old defensive lineman on the interior. He says that he's got the best days ahead of him, which would be awesome to see. It'd be great to see him pair up with Andrew Billings, who was probably the biggest contributing factor to our inability to stop the run in the second half of the season after he tore his pec in the Washington game. Um, and then they also got some more depth out of this dude from Indianapolis, Dio Audeyingbo. Um, he's late 20s again. So what I'm seeing is that we got the ability to draft the best available player, no matter where we're at in the draft. So sitting at number 10, I would not hate Ashton Genty. I would not hate Tyler Warren coming out of Penn State, that big tight
Mm.
end.
Mm-hmm.
Um, would be
Mm-hmm.
cool to see a two tight end set with him and Cole Kmet.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the biggest frustrations out of Bears fans last season was knowing that Cole Kmet was being super underutilized. That sucked to see. He was getting like on average like zero point 0.3 targets per game,
Mm.
which is upsetting knowing that that guy's like a
He's a
homegrown
monster.
Chicago dude. He
Oh
loves the
yeah.
Bears and he loves being there. He's got talent also. But I wouldn't hate the Bears just building up on the trenches either way. Like if what's the guy's name? Abdul Carter is there at 10 for whatever reason. He has like some sort of Jalen Carter type of fall to that
That
spot.
would be crazy if we
That would be
did.
awesome. I would love that. So sky's the limit. I am very much open to whatever the Bears are able to do. It's awesome to see them invest that much time and that open up the checkbooks to protect Caleb before they have to pay him. So that's a change in the philosophy of the Chicago Bears in the C-suite. It seems like George McCaskey is very open to the idea of spending money, which is not what it's been in the past for the Bears. So
Absolutely.
I'm
How
pretty
did
pretty stoked on that. A little sad to see the dude Jack Sanborn get dropped off the Bears. He was also a homegrown guy. I think he was like from the Lake Zurich area.
okay.
Um, Went with the Cowboys. He's with our boy Eberflus again.
I don't know if he's happy about that, but hey, you got paid.
A solid D coordinator, but
True.
yeah, things are looking good for the Bears. I'm feeling pretty good about it.
How
So
do you think Justin Fields woke up feeling, seeing how much his past team is spending on offensive line help for Caleb and not him in during his tenure?
honestly, I feel like annoyed would be probably the easiest way to go, but that the Bears were in such a different place when he got drafted. He got drafted by Ryan Pace in the
Hmm.
previous regime also. So to no fault of his own, he got put into one of the worst situations that a rookie quarterback could be in, where dudes were just trying to save their jobs. Like, Matt
That's
Nagy didn't want to
really
start him.
that's really all it was. Dudes trying
And,
to save their jobs.
Eberflus was not even the best available that they could have gotten. I
Hmm.
think Brian Dable was still out there. I can't remember who else was available during that coaching cycle. So yeah, the Bears were very much the Bears of old while Justin Fields was still around. But
Yeah.
now that we're able to kind of convince the guy, George McCaskey, things are looking good.
I love that for you guys.
Yeah, I love it.
I think that any of the blue blood Teams, the original, like I think four, whenever Green Bay, the Bears, the Jets, even though they freaking suck right now and they have sucked for a long time. Anytime those original franchises, Kansas City, are doing well, the league is just better all around. So we need the Bears to turn it around just because you guys add such a dynamic to the league and the marketing and what's being spoken about. I hate the Bears because I hate Chicago fans. You are an exception, Wild Bill. You've always been very understanding and a knower of ball.
Thank you.
But Chicago fans are usually the biggest fair weather fans and just will hop ship as soon as you guys start off 0 and 2. Like just don't know how to stick it out. So um shout out to you, Willie, for being a real one and staying down for your boys.
Thank you. I stay
Um
down for the Bears, the Cubs. Sometimes, most of the time, the Bulls, even though they suck. I'm very fair weather with the Blackhawks. Hockey, hockey's not really my thing, but I'll hop on the bandwagon when they're good, when it's convenient.
Absolutely. So just to get over a couple of the other free agents that didn't go to either of our teams, but speaking about Miles Garrett a little bit and then Max Crosby, both these guys saying they want to play winning ball, but all it takes is a couple 40 M's for them to, ah, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking.
Hey, I'd stay put in Vegas.
Yeah,
Why
not mad
not?
at that. I just saw a post of him though. He came out and said that he stopped drinking. Like he had a tattoo of
Mhm.
it on his arm. Like 311. So shout out to you, big dog. 311 2020. Stopped drinking right as COVID hit. Um,
Crazy.
I was drinking.
Were you?
Everyone I know was drinking during
Dude,
COVID.
that was the leanest I ever got. I moved back home, stopped drinking, read books, was door dashing at night just because that was like
I
really the only thing I could
love
do.
that for you.
Dude, yeah, I woke up and went on like 8 mile runs, which I,
What?
yeah,
Dude, I was playing Fortnite and drinking and being upset, but I was getting paid very well at the time
nice.
because I was on that good unemployment. I was on that good unemployment.
Oh, dude, so was I.
Yeah, I gave you like that extra 600 or whatever. That's when my first time I bought my first PC with that money. And I was living at home, so I was living with my parents. So like I had no bills. I was just hanging
Hell yeah.
out. Uh,
That's sick. The one note I do have also, Joey Boza got
yeah.
released by the Chargers and now he's with the Buffalo Bills. I don't have much to say about the player himself, but
Oh, I
final
do.
ever San Diego Charger, which speaks to me as saying he was drafted in 2016. He's been in the league for that long. Because I remember the day that
Damn.
they announced that San Diego Chargers were moving to LA. Sad day for the city of San Diego because they love their Chargers. I
Hmm.
remember I was at the time carless. And I was taking the trolley between work and San Diego State University. And I saw the stadium, Qualcomm Stadium. Many memories of being in that parking lot doing undescript things that I shouldn't mention on this podcast. And I was just like, ha! I just lost your team. Um, but yeah, that kind of just hit me in a way that I did not expect. Like no
That's
more
kind
San
of,
Diego Chargers. All those dudes are LA Chargers.
dude, I did
That's
not know he was 2016. He's been in the league for a long time.
yeah, he has to have been, yeah. That was the last season they played in San Diego,
He's been for
which
more
is
than a decade.
unfortunate. That whole area is so different now. Drove down there not super long ago.
Is it just like not as like sporty? Like people just don't have the same pride anymore, or like what?
They tore down Qualcomm and built San Diego State's own stadium there, and they developed the entire land around it to be like a satellite campus.
No, nice. I mean, just college area then. Area
It
like
is.
yeah,
It's just weird.
yeah. I hear you. I mean, I bet if you were going to San Diego State now, you would love it.
I would love it. Although I heard that they kind of cracked down on tailgating, which is not chill. Not chill. All right, I know you got to run. The only other note I really have is Justin Fields, 2 years, 40 million. Happy for my guy. I don't know how it's gonna end up out in New York with the Jets, but happy for my dude.
Absolutely. I'm excited to see also what Sam and Darnold can do out in Seattle, and
Yep.
then what Gino can do in with the Raiders. Uh, it sounds like to me, um, Pete Carroll really loved his time with Geno Smith. And
Hmm.
so to have him down with the Raiders would be a good bridge quarterback um, for whatever their future is. Obviously, what was his name? From he was originally with the Patriots, then with the 49ers, and now with the Raiders.
Jimmy
Jimmy
G.
Garoppolo. Yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo was not it. Tom Brady was right. Jimmy G was a fraud. You can't compare Tom to him.
No,
So
can't really compare him to many
uh,
people.
yeah, the guy had a noodle arm, but he looks good. So shout out to him. I do know for the baseball fans that tune into the pod, Wild Bill is going to be starting his MLB side starting now as I go on my walk because I'm getting fat. So I told Bill I was going to be just doing just the quick 30. So good luck to you, Bill. I love talking ball with you. I love the pod. Can't wait for more news to come out to be able to hop on.
That's right. Peyton, I appreciate you coming on here and giving me another flavor, another taste of everything. I
Always.
appreciate your insight and your perspective, and I love your energy.
I
And I
love you,
love
buddy.
you as who you are.
I love you, buddy.
Thanks for hopping on. We'll talk to you again at some point soon.
Of
All right.
course. See you,
Later.
folks.
All right. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed that section with my good friend Peyton. Awesome dude. Going on hot girl walks is always a great option to introduce some cardio into your everyday routine. I think I might go on a little walk myself after recording some of this. I'll wait for my pretty little girlfriend Francesca to make it home from work. Um, Thanks, babe, for going to work every single day. It's been a struggle for me recently. I've got a jerk of a boss that has taken away some hours from me, which is not cool. Actively looking for work. If anybody wants to hire me, go on and let me know. I do have a big film gig coming up in Mammoth. I'm working as a PA. Can't really disclose much more about that, so I'll shut up about that for now. We've got some Chicago Cubs baseball coming up this next week. And it's going to be one of those weird international series that start everything off a lot earlier than the rest of the season. I think the Cubs come back after the 2 games in Tokyo and have some spring training games, which I think is really stupid. I don't know why they do that outside of, obviously scheduling probably gets super weird between international sites and, all the customs that you have to go through to be able to do that. I know there's weird tax things with how much money you earn outside of the United States. So to that extent, I can understand why it's going to be, 2 games here, then back home. It's a lot to figure out. So I don't envy that position that, the Cubs and the Dodgers and all of MLB is in with trying to deliver on this product that they want to have out in Japan with the 2 or 3 big stars being Seiya Suzuki and Shota Imanaga on the Cubs, and 4 big stars with Yamamoto and Shohei Ohtani on the Dodgers. It's going to be a big show out. 2 marquee franchises in the MLB, the Dodgers and the Cubs. Those teams have been there since the very beginning. Back when the Dodgers were in Brooklyn, the Cubs, back when they were the Orphans and the Whales. Real ball knowers know they were also the White Stockings at a time. I anticipate the Cubs winning both games. I really do. I think the Dodgers aren't ready for it. I anticipate a little bit of a World Series hangover. I think the Dodgers might take a few weeks to get into it. I think they'll still very much be there in October, but they don't know what's coming with the Cubs. Cubs have had all this time to prepare. They've been licking their lips, rubbing their little hands together. They're ready to tee off on Yamamoto. And it's gonna be a good watch for those that are awake at 3 in the morning, which I will not be one. I'm definitely not gonna wake up at 3 in the morning for all that. But these games count, and I hope Craig Counsell understands that. I felt like at times last season Craig was just letting people out, leaving pitchers out there that hung out to dry. I know the one game I saw the Dodgers play against the Cubs here in LA, it was Jordan Wicks getting absolutely lit up for 5 home runs in the first inning, which was cool to watch, and I would have really enjoyed it if it wasn't the Cubs. But you know how that goes. It wasn't cute. So I'm anticipating the Cubs starting the season off 2-0, then coming back to Arizona, finishing off a strong showing in spring training. I know we were talking a lot of talk about the Cubs being undefeated, and now it feels like they have only lost since then. think the Cubs are like, what, 8-0 or whatever? And not including some of the ties that were left with an even score after 9 innings. Obviously, they don't do extra innings in spring training because what's the point? Doesn't really matter. I am seeing a lot of encouraging signs from who I anticipate is going to be a sleeper in the running for potential MVP talk, Pete Crow Armstrong. His legend is only growing even more. I love a good fast dude on the Chicago Cubs. Kind of reminds me of the speed of Tony Campana with a bigger frame. He reminds me of the electricity that was Javi Baez. He's got power numbers in spring training. He's leading the team in home runs. He's hit 3. He had 2 in one game. So PCA is going to be a huge part of this 2025 Chicago Cubs season. Another big piece of news is that Matt Shaw, the number 1 prospect for the Cubs, third baseman, is going to be traveling with the team up to Japan. So I don't know if he'll really be getting a whole lot of playing time. But it's encouraging to know that the Cubs are willing to bring up the young guys. We've been in this endless cycle of just, bringing dudes in, bringing dudes out. Who knows if they're going to be here next season? And I am ready for some consistency, especially at third base. We haven't really had a consistent one since, Chris Bryant. Patrick Wisdom was cool, but he's moved on to bigger and better things, I guess. You kind of are in a tough spot when you're a 30-year-old rookie, and that's what he was a few years ago. And, those are my hopes and dreams for this Chicago Cubs season. Seiya Suzuki's not having a great spring training. I know last season I anticipated a good season for him after he was leading the team in batting average through March in spring training. And he obviously had a very disappointing season. So we'll see. He might be the subject of a trade at some point mid-season. I wouldn't be very surprised at all if that were what would happen. And Justin Steele will likely be the day 2 starter after Shota starts off strong in front of his home crowd. I'm a little concerned about Justin Steele. He had a not-so-cute outing against the Brewers in his most recent spring training start. He really missed the spots and gave up 2 big jacks in the first inning, and the Cubs lost 8-7 after it was all said and done. He missed some spots pretty badly, and that's of mild concern. I would hope that he would not give up those jacks. Hopefully this is just him getting all the bad baseball out of his system before heading into to the regular season. As long as we can shake that and be able to get back to where I know Justin Steele is able to perform at, I think the Cubs are in a pretty good spot. Only other thing that I noticed about spring training, who is this Gage Workman guy? He's leading the team in batting average, and I don't know if he's going to make the opening day roster. It'd be cool if he did. It'd be cool if he was, somebody starting in front of Matt Shaw, and we could see Matt Shaw making spot starts here and there and be a pinch hitter. It's kind of a overly congested position for the Cubs at the moment because I know Justin Turner traveled with the team. He's an old guy that's, just looking to fit that pinch hitter role, clubhouse guy type of presence. So I don't know how that's going to play out. Again, this is all observations I've been making with very little knowledge behind it, no facts, just vibes off of the highlights that I've seen from spring training. I haven't really been keeping up with watching much of the games, just the highlights. As a diehard Chicago Cubs fan, I'll be better about it once the season rolls around. Don't worry about it. Don't take it too seriously. But this is my team, and I have really, really good expectations for them. I don't think the St. Louis Cardinals are in a good position. The Reds and the Pirates are obviously still the Reds and the Pirates. And the Brewers, I think their time might be up. Having absolutely no facts and no base off of that prediction, I think they are done. We can declare it right here. R.I.P. Milwaukee Brewers. Your time is up. Move to another city, maybe. I know that was a rumor during the offseason. I think they figured it out with the ballpark. But, yeah, your time is up. So, Cubs again, 162-0. This is not new information. This is not anything that I didn't say in the first one. So yeah, that's my baseball update. Weird timing for the season to start. I wish they wouldn't do it. I think it's really weird that they would choose to have this out at 3 a.m. to be the first game that counts. I mean, 6 a.m. if you're in New York, but who's in New York that cares about this game? But I'm excited either way. So excited for baseball season to be here. Quick roundup on other Chicago sports teams. The Blackhawks fired their coach, and their team is playing a lot better now. Connor Bedard is dazzling fans. That's all I know. Haven't watched them either. Watched part of their game the other day, actually, against, I want to say, I can't remember what team it was, but it was cool. They were having fun. We'll check back in when they're actually good. The Bulls suck, but they still managed to be in the 10 seed. Wash, rinse, repeat. The Bulls are just going to be in this exact spot for the rest of the time, forever and ever. Don't care. Doesn't really matter to me. Not a basketball guy, so whatever. Let's see what else is going on in my life. I read a book. I read The Grapes of Wrath. Obviously a book that a lot of people read in middle school or high school. I think this is actually a pretty interesting topic because I went online and started looking at reviews of the book. It's a lot of really upset middle schoolers. I realized this when I was reading 1984 during COVID. And what else did I read? I read Fahrenheit, or not Fahrenheit, but Catch-22 this past year, which is a really dense book. I wouldn't really recommend it unless you're really committed to reading. So casual book readers, not for you probably, but hardcore book reader like myself, it was a trip. A lot of these kids are going through their, middle school English classes, not having like full on life experiences, and they can't really relate to what's going on. Like everyday struggles, like the people in Grapes of Wrath, or like, let's say for example, what do I have up on my bookshelf? Whatever, Holes the Giver. They can't put themselves in that position because most of these kids are out in the suburbs or in the city, and they've only ever known going to the store, 7-Eleven, picking up Arizona iced teas or whatever, and going back home. They don't know the treacherous outdoor life, or not having enough and having to live pretty like scavenger like. They don't get it, and so it doesn't resonate with them. And I'm seeing a lot of 1-star reviews for this amazing book, like, this is pointless. I wasted all my time reading, and it's not even exciting. I don't know. Social media just makes things out to be a lot cooler than they really are. I mean, living through 29 years of life, I've realized like there's so much boring stuff that you have to go through to really be able to understand what being an adult is like. I know my sister's kind of going through it right now. She just turned 21. Shout out to my sister. You're a punk. But it's tough to relate on those certain kind of things, like even just through a life sense. Like a lot of these people haven't gone through, having their car totaled or being in an accident, or let's say, jumping from job to job. And it's tough to really be able to put yourself into those shoes. A lot of people are leaning towards the side of being apathetic, which I think is a really dangerous way to go down. There's an endemic, or whatever you want to call it, of kids going through school and not really being able to read at a sufficient level that a lot of us were held to a certain standard of back when we were going through elementary and middle school. So I think that's super concerning. And I feel very privileged to be able to read all these books that I have on my bookshelf, go to the library, being able to retain all this information that I'm learning. I think it's a skill that's indispensable. It can't be understated, or rather overstated, how important that is and how great of a gift that is to be able to pass on to more generations as time goes on. So I don't know what it's going to take, because we're eliminating the Department of Education, which is the dumbest thing ever. Not that I really have the faintest idea of the real workings of what the organization or department does, But to say that and leave it up to the states, I think is a really dangerous idea. It's not to get too political here. I'm just saying, read, and like try to understand where people are. Yeah, 4.5 stars on that book. It was pretty good. It had me captivated through most of the time. I guess is where I wanted to land. Not to rant too much about kids these days not knowing how to read. Also, huge life update. I have recently subscribed to PlayStation Plus, so I've been doing absolutely nothing but playing video games. I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima, which is awesome. Not that I'm learning about Japanese culture, but to be like playing through that, I know I've read a little bit into the development. They wanted to be super respectful to the culture and, you know, keep it true to what feudal Japan was like. It's cool to see that. And I think I'm going to spend some time in the next upcoming weeks. I'd love to watch Seven Samurai. And all those other samurai movies. It's cool. I'm having a good time with it. Playing a lot of Call of Duty, which is fun. My girlfriend Fran is playing Prop Hunt. If anybody wants to add us, I am Bill the Mexican on PlayStation Network. And that's really all I got going on. Again, if anybody wants to hire me on to any production work in LA or do a photo shoot with Wild Bill Photos, billanaya@gmail.com. Go to my website, billanaya.com. Follow me on Instagram, personal, wildbill11, or my photo one, at wildbillphotos with an F. So that's what I got for this week. I don't know when I'll be able to check back in. I have that job coming up that I will not give more details about. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for bearing with me through this experimental time in my life. Yeah, I appreciate you guys. So until next time, this has been Wild Bill, and it's over.